Hi, this is Jolynn from One Heart TV, and I'm your host today. And I'm going to talk about is what's dear to my heart, our food industry. Our food industry that includes farming as well as ranching, and what the heck we're putting in our bodies that could be well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it is making us very unhealthy these days. And I'm gonna talk to Barbara. Barbara, would you share your name and your beautiful ranch in Canada, please?
My name's Barbara Schellenberg, and the company name is Pasture To Plate. We've been doing that since 2000. So the ranch itself is the Rafter 25 Ranch, where my mom has been for almost 45 years now.
Wow, I had no idea. You guys have been going really strong. I looked at your website and I was floored. The beauty of the pictures is just absolutely breathtaking. But you've been doing some ranching that was passed down, I think, through your family lineage. That
Actually, my parents both immigrated from Switzerland
okay.
in their early 20s and have been ranching. And then slowly over the years, by 2000, we're a fully organic and biodynamic ranch. So then the direct marketing was the next step. Yeah.
Why did they choose to go organic of all things? It's such a hard field to go in, isn't it?
I think it was really up and coming at that time. I think a lot of information was just starting to come out. My mom she always had the garden organic. She never wanted to put any fertilizer. She never did anything like that. So she was always the driving force for that. And I think at that one point as a teenager, I became a bit of a health freak and I was pushing as well. So, but yeah, so the changes are made and yeah, it's been great.
Can you give us a little overview? I love it. Can you give us a little overview exactly what it is that you do at the farm or the ranch, I should say?
That I do personally or just in general.
In general, I guess I would love to hear that.
So the ranch itself, including the leased land, is about 165,000 hectares. And that is managed holistically, sort of as much as possible. There's a lot of places, because it's so large, you can't do a lot of management, and the wildlife sort of, take it how they always have for millions of years, which is perfect. Um, we raise cattle, sheep, hogs, poultry, and then we have some horses and dogs in the standard livestock as well. But for our butcher shop, we do the cattle, hogs, sheep, and poultry.
Yeah, I know you have it broken down on the website. I was reading a bit about it. It's a lot involved as and maybe what I really love most, two things. Right out the gate. I'm going to read this right off your website because I love it. All our animals are free from vaccination, antibiotics, parasites, controlling chemicals, and growth promoting implants. For me, I love that. I heard Dr. Oz talk about anything when we mistreat animals, that goes into their cells. And those cells, when they're butchered, go into us if we eat that product. So I love that you're keeping this out. What made you, yeah, again, why would you take on such a big thing and make these animals almost feel loved?
Um, I think that animal husbandry and animal welfare was sort of big on the forefront. Um, really doing a lot of things that you do for organic agriculture are kind of more cost effective though, so they do make sense for smaller ranches to not use growth promoting implants, where every animal right off the bat, that's $7 to $15 per injection. Like the vaccines are very expensive, all these things, and these things being vaccinated are generally for diseases that haven't been seen in my lifetime. um
Hmm.
at least not where we are, but it's just kind of a thing. Every calving season, this many calves hit the ground, this much vaccine is ordered. It's just kind of standard practice. Um, that when you think about it, it's like we're spending money on something that could be life saving, but it's not a disease that's a concern. It's essentially not good for them, and it's very costly. So why do it? Yeah. So there's kind of a practical and logical solution to most things in life. And so when you look at those, yeah, kind of became a lot simpler.
A lot simpler. I love it. One of the things that I notice you do too is that I'm using the wrong language in here, but migrate the animals in such a way that they're fertilizing your ground and you're reusing that as well. Can you talk a little bit about that? I thought that was kind of fascinating how you make your soil from chicken poop.
Yeah. Um, well, of course, animals are the perfect fertilizer factories, and they also, unlike machines, they don't impact the soil the same way. They're much gentler on the soil, and because we don't use commercial fertilizers, animals are pretty essential. If you're going to try farming without fertilizers and without livestock, it becomes very hard. Um, of course, you can use organic fertilizers, but then it's again very, very costly. So having animals is really essential to a holistic and healthy agriculture environment. And because we've always been in the meat industry, that's been easy for us because animals have always been the focus. But yeah, even if you're going to have a vegetable farm, having animals to get the manure from or to come and turn over your gardens, it's very, very helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I mean, I would much rather have organic soil, of which I do use in my growing in my little garden. But you guys have quite a plot. You've got you've got a lot to be working over. Okay, so you have a shop where you actually not only raise the meat of what types of agriculture? I mean, you have the cows, of course. You have the chickens, I notice. What else do you have on the farm?
And we have pigs and sheep. And
Oh,
they are all born on the property, with the exception of the chickens, whom are actually the broiler chicks are purchased as day olds. We don't have a hatchery. But other than that, the sheep, the pigs, the cows, everyone is born, lives their entire life on the ranch. And we have a small slaughterhouse on ranch where they're processed, at which point we then have a small sort of little shop area in the restaurant on the ranch that's open seasonally. But then we also do have the main outlet is in Vancouver, in East Vancouver since now many years. We have a shop that's just a full on butcher shop where nearly all the product goes direct to consumer.
to have it right in your own backyard, I can only imagine what that's like. Because I do buy organic meat, but I can't say that it's local, I don't know really where it's coming from. But for you guys, it's right there. You've been eating this way your whole life, Barbara?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, food has always been a central uh, piece in my life. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk a bit about you also have now this is called Pasture to Plate, and you're a long time in Canada. Yeah, beautiful. Um, you invite people to come and see the place as well as you also have a place to eat. Is that what I heard?
So we do allow people to do self-guided tours of the ranch. They sort of can come on the property, they can walk around, check it out. We don't really do a whole lot of agritourism. We don't have a staff for that. It's just not, it's hard enough to find people to work very remotely. We're 90 minutes from the nearest sort of place to buy groceries. So
Oh,
can be a little challenging to find help. But the restaurant is open seasonally, and then that sort of draws a bigger crowd because the highway, if you look on the map, we're sort of in Redstone, BC. So that's from Williams Lake, about 90 minutes west. And then it's another few hours down to Bella Coola. And it's a very popular road trip. People come from Vancouver, they go all the way up, they do the loop through Redstone down to Bella Coola, and then they take the ferry or the little cruise ship basically, and they can go to various destinations from there. So it's a really popular route. And in the summer, when the ferry is not on strike, we get very busy there. Yeah.
I just love the way that the whole idea of this ranch and the way it has it's not just the beauty of it. I mean, oh my gosh, the green when you have that going on, these cows must be in heaven. I've seen the stories, Barbara, of the way that pigs are produced tightly in crates, and that is not the way you guys work it at all.
It's
Can
not.
you share how you what they kind of get to do for a time period until the snow comes, I guess, right?
Well, so if we start with the pigs, they are actually pretty cool because they're very weather hardy animals. As much as they'll sort of complain when it's cold out, we give them big, huge round bales, and they'll burrow right into them and build themselves little houses. And they'll be under like 2, 3 feet of hay, and it's all steamy. You can see because when hay starts to decompose, it actually generates heat, right? So they've made themselves these heated beds. And in the winter, if you walk along the road and you look in on the pigs, you just see their ears and snouts, and the rest of them are fully covered, and they're just toasty warm in there. So they do overwinter very well, even when it's cold out, as long as they have that deep bedding. The springtime, the sows will farrow. For that, we bring them into the barn. Then they have individual pens. They do best when they have privacy and quiet and some dark. So then they will have their litters. And then once those little guys are even a couple weeks old, they'll gain access to a little outdoor run where they're still private just with their mom, but they can sort of go outside, and tends to be a little chilly yet, but they get some sun, they go back inside and cuddle. Once they're, month to 2 months old, they'll go back into a bigger pasture. And that's sort of when the green grass is starting anyway. So then they can roam, and that's their life. And that's kind of the thing that they do. And they're very cool animals. They're very entertaining to watch.
I bet.
Yeah.
One of the things I found interesting is that they don't give off the smelly gases the way that you do it. It seems that, in the pens, when they're stuck in the pens real close to each other, I mean, it must be awful to go into that barn wherever they are, the smell for them, and then for people working in that area. But you guys don't have that because of how you have organized this in a sense to have them free ranged. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, because they're open air
ah,
pretty much. Even the barn has a lot of airflow, and it's not high concentration. So their manure isn't sort of like rotting essentially. It's more like composting. And there's a different gases and different fragrances, I guess, that come off of that, depending on how it's happening.
yeah.
So, but most of their lives, they really are outside, and they are very clean animals. They love to bathe. They're in the creek a lot. They do their mud baths and all their little routines. So they're not smelly animals in that sense when you give them the option to live the way they were intended to.
Wow, I had no idea. I love this. We don't have this experience. Many of us don't live on a ranch and so forth. Now you have I know the cattle and you have them dispersed also. They have an ebb and flow throughout the year, correct?
That's correct. So springtime is calving once sort of the green grass starts. And then once the calves are sort of big and strong enough, they will go out into the range, summer range pasture with their moms. And they kind of, yeah, outdoor wandering. It's a bit hard to keep track of them,
Yeah.
big forested areas. And then for the winter season, they come back home usually as soon as the snow flies, the moms start to head home. So they know it's time to come back. And then, yeah, winter feeding, they're basically fed hay that we almost exclusively will make enough hay on the ranch for them. So they'll eat that through the winter. And yeah, it's really good.
And then you have your little lambs, of course, so that's all
Oh
good.
yes, the sheep are wonderful. They're again very, very entertaining when they're small. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the goat. I'm not sure you have goats, but those are very entertaining when they're the little goats on Facebook crack me up. Um, yeah, this is so interesting to me. Again, I go back to the philosophy that you have of the tenderness of working with the animals in nature. And again, the chickens, I read that this is what I love. They're eating the insects. They're eating what they're supposed to instead of that fabricated grain that they give them in these horrible places where they raise tons of chickens. But it seems that you've got it ideally
Yeah.
situated, correct? Where they're
That's correct. Yes. Chickens are a bit hard to do in the idyllic sense, simply because, especially up where the ranch is, there's a lot of predators. So
Oh,
everything, even up to as small as a raven or a crow, is a predator that's deadly to the birds. So the idyllic sort of concept of having them just outside roaming the pasture is not necessarily feasible. For laying hens, it's not a problem because they're smart and they're fast and they know what to get out of the way. But the
uh,
broiler chickens, they're a little different. They really like to lounge around and not do much. So we use more shelters and they're kind of more intensively managed. But yes, they do get grass on a daily basis. They don't get any genetically modified feeds. And yes, they do pick out, even if it's just grass that's been mowed, there's always tons of bugs in there. And they love that. The laying hens are out physically in the field running around all day long. Yes.
I'll tell you, those animals, they haven't made it your place. Just a little too much overall goodness. I'd like to be out there. It was beautiful. Your scenery, your pictures, your gallery. Um, I have a question of going out on a limb, and I do want you to. I'm going to put your information in the description so everyone can find you. But when I'm in California, can we order from your shop online?
No, because we are a provincially inspected processing plant. We actually can only sell within our province. And then as soon as you want to go out of the country, you need to have all of your, oh, I don't know, there's all kinds of regulations and things like that that are different.
Right.
So, but I know California has a lot of great local ranches and farms. And I think if people just get behind whomever is closest to them and support them, that's the best way to go.
Yeah, what are there any last things you would like to share with the folks? I love what your family's doing. That's all I can say. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing that you're all doing and giving back to the area around you. Um, quality food. So,
Yeah, I think I don't know, you were leading me so nicely with specific questions. um yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to consuming animal products, a lot of people are sort of on the fence and they have that challenge of can it, can they find it ethically, sourcing it ethically? And that for me has been a lifelong challenge. I was a vegetarian for years and um that is something that now that I'm older and I've been around the agriculture sort of more intensively and working with food for many years, I realized that it absolutely is a part of having a healthy diet, as well as there is absolutely ways to do it that is beneficial to the environment and to the animals, and that's ethical and safe and healthy. So it's about I guess finding that in your local area, and yeah, just whether that's at your farmer's market or your local, you just have Whole Foods and Wild Oats and things like that down there, don't you? Some
we
great
do.
shops.
We do. You know, you have to dig a little bit. I live on the central coast of California, so I'm very lucky. We got farmlands everywhere, but I am a little bit picky these days. And I do prefer organic. You can taste the difference. I'm just telling you, people, you can taste the difference. You get an apple that came from New York City or something, it's tasteless. Okay. I'm just going to admit that in the grocery stores, but you get it right here in our own neck of the woods. And I think that's the same with you guys and Barbara, your meat.
Oh, it's so true. It's absolutely true. That's probably the biggest comment we get from people who just start shopping with us is that it just tastes so different. The flavor is, when a product is good, I guess it generally tastes good. That whole concept that we were taught was like, oh, everything that's good for you tastes terrible, but it's really not true because things that are good for us generally do taste really great. There might just be an issue with our taste buds or something. We're not trained, but yeah, once you get used to good food, it's very hard to go back.
It is. It is. Well, thank you for taking your time today. This is Jolyn from One Heart TV. I just want to remind you to click the button if you like us and please share as well. I'm so happy to have Barbara on today from her family's ranch in Canada, and that is called
Pasture to Plate.
Pasture to Plate, y'all. And that's a great title because it truly is from your homeland onto the plate. Again, thank you. And everyone have a spectacular day, evening, afternoon, wherever you're catching this. And please, we look forward to giving you more videos like this in the future so that you can have the information basically, and decide for yourself how you're going to change your lives, become healthier. All right. Thank you again, Barbara, and we'll all talk soon. Thank you.
Nice talking to you. Take care.
Bye bye.